to know that for the small cost of a commercial sponsorship, both Rush Limbaugh and I, Rachel Maddow, would encourage you to look into getting a living will. Rush and I have something in common. I will explain. I promise. Stay with us. Sometimes voice advertisements, which means that I read copy promoting the goods or services of companies that pay radio stations or that pay Air America for the promotion. It's what people in talk radio do. One read I used to do was for a company that provides legal forms for a do-it-yourself living will. Now, I also happen to believe that a living will is a good thing to have, so I have absolutely no qualms about having done that read for that ad once upon a time. But in this fight that I hesitate to call a debate about healthcare that we're having as a country right now, getting a living will is being likened to murder or forced suicide or fascism or something. The conspiracy theory that the government promoting living wills, which the government has done for 20 years, is somehow now a secret plot to kill old people, was started, as we have said many times on this show, by a woman named Betsy McCoy. She's a director of a medical device company called Cantel Medical Corp. She's a former director of a biotech company called Genta, and she's a senior fellow at the Hudson Institute, which is a right-wing think tank funded by some of the biggest pharmaceutical firms in the country. The living wills are secretly a plot to kill people myth was started by Betsy McCoy. She advanced it on the pages of Rupert Murdoch's New York Post. She promoted it on right-wing talk radio shows, including one hosted by Fred Thompson, the actor and former presidential candidate. But once that conspiracy theory got its start, it frankly has really been popularized, not by people like Betsy McCoy, who nobody's ever heard of, but by Sarah Palin and Newt Gingrich and the influential Republican talk show host, Rush Limbaugh.
People at a certain age with certain diseases will be deemed not worth the investment, and they will just, as Obama says, they'll give them some pain pills and let them loop out until they die, and they don't even know what's happened.
Now, I've given you some full disclosure about my talk radio career. Here's a little full disclosure about Rush Limbaugh's talk radio career.
August is National Make-A-Will Month. Visit nationalwillmonth.com, or better yet, set aside 10 minutes, go to LegalZoom.com, and get started. Do it for yourself. Do it for your family. Take control. Now, LegalZoom is not a law firm. It was started by top attorneys to provide self-help services at your specific direction. LegalZoom.com. That's LegalZoom.com.
Yeah, talk radio is kind of a small world. Rush Limbaugh and I voice ads for the same company. A company that I think does a relatively good, constructive thing in the world by promoting, among other things, living wills. Mr. Limbaugh, on the other hand, has been railing on his talk radio show all month about how he thinks that promoting living wills is secretly a plot to... What did he say again?
Let them loop out until they die.
Yes, according to Mr. Limbaugh, living wills are a secret plot by the government to kill you, to let you loop out till you die. I don't know what looping out means, but it sounds bad. What does this all mean? It means that either Rush Limbaugh doesn't really believe the healthcare reform and living wills are a secret plot to kill old people conspiracy, or he does believe it, but for a few pesos, he will tell you to look into it because it's not that bad an idea. You know, and it's not just Mr. Limbaugh. At TruthSlant.com yesterday, intrepid reporter Matt Taibbi brought us the same kind of full disclosure for a conservative you might have heard of called Newt Gingrich.
You're asking us to trust the government. Now, I'm not talking about the Obama administration, I'm talking about the government. You're asking us to decide that we believe that the government is to be trusted. We know people have said routinely, well, you're going to have to make decisions. You're going to have to decide. Communal standards, historically, is a very dangerous concept.
It's not in the bill.
But the bill's 1,000 pages of setting up mechanisms. It sets up 45 different agencies. It has all sorts of panels. You're asking us to trust turning power over to the government when there clearly are people in America who believe in establishing euthanasia, including selective standards.
People in the government believe in establishing euthanasia. You're asking us to trust the government about asking us to make the decisions? Of course people are concerned. This is very dangerous. Mr. Gingrich has been as enthusiastic as any figure on the right in claiming that health care reform and its provision to promote people making living wills should be viewed as a secret plot to kill old people. Just a few weeks ago, Mr. Gingrich, however, was all for it, praising exactly the same kind of end-of-life counseling plan in the pages of the Washington Post that he now demonizes. On July 2nd, he said in the Post, quote, "More than 20% of all Medicare spending occurs in the last 2 months of life. Gunderson Lutheran Health System in La Crosse, Wisconsin, has developed a successful end-of-life best practice that includes community-wide advanced care planning, where 90% of patients have advance directives." That's a living will. The Gunderson approach empowers patients and families to control and direct their care. Gunderson delivers care at a 30% lower rate than the national average. If Gunderson's approach was used to care for the approximately 4.5 million Medicare beneficiaries who die every year, Medicare could save more than $33 billion a year. So Newt Gingrich not only says advance directives, living wills are a great empowering thing for patients and their families to control and direct care, he thinks that everyone on Medicare should get them too. You know what? That's exactly what was proposed in the House Health Reform Bill, which Newt Gingrich then denounced as a secret plot to euthanize everyone. Can I give you just one more here? The person who has probably done more than anyone, other than Betsy McCoy, who made it up in the first place, to promote this idea of living wills as a secret plot to kill you, is former half-term Alaska Governor Sarah Palin. She has now released a second statement on her Facebook page. This one has footnotes. And it's denouncing the living wills provision of the House health care bill. And she denounces it once again as a death panel. I regret that it is also time for some full disclosure about Sarah Palin on this issue. In order to do that, the Rachel Maddow Show is now not quite proud to present Governor Sarah Palin's declaration of April 16th, 2008 as Healthcare Decisions Day in Alaska, as read by Rod Blagojevich, because that's who we pay to read stuff.
Whereas Healthcare Decisions Day is designed to raise public awareness of the need to plan ahead for healthcare decisions related to end-of-life care and medical decision-making whenever patients are unable to speak for themselves, and to encourage the specific use of advance directives to communicate these important healthcare decisions. Whereas one of the principal goals of Healthcare Decisions Day is to encourage hospitals, nursing homes, assisted living facilities, continuing care, retirement communities, and hospices to participate in statewide effort to provide clear and consistent information to the public about advance directives, as well as to encourage medical professionals and lawyers to volunteer their time and efforts to improve public knowledge and increase the number of Alaska citizens with advance directives. Now, therefore, I, Sarah Palin, Governor of Alaska, do hereby proclaim April 16, 2008 as Healthcare Decision Day in Alaska.
As read by our Rod Blagojevich impersonator. So how exactly do we get from advance directives, living wills, getting their very own celebratory day proclaimed in Alaska by Sarah Palin? How do we get from there to Sarah Palin condemning living wills as death panels? You know, if you or someone that you know is getting on in years, and if you were that person you know, here's someone like Rush Limbaugh or Newt Gingrich or Sarah Whereas Palin telling you or them that healthcare reform includes a plot to kill the elderly in this country, A, don't be afraid, and B, know their record, and know this. Even they don't believe this bullpucky that they are selling you. Even they don't believe it.